Hi there, a very good evening to all our viewers watching us connect this evening. It's time now for you to pick up your phone, connect with us on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Twitter. The story out this evening is on Nirbhaya. We've seen how the Supreme Court has upheld the verdict of the Delhi High Court, and it is death penalty confirmed by the Apex Court for the 4 convicts in the Nirbhaya rape case. Let's remind you, this is Connect. We're going live on television. We are also going live on our Facebook stream with my colleague Meghna Rekha joining us live from the digital desk. Hi, Meghna.
Hello, Akshay. Yes, this is a simulcast, and after all, today the focus is going to be on the Nirbhaya case. Because remember, at the end of it, if there is one case which has jolted the collective conscience of the nation, then it has to be this gang rape and brutalization of this 23-year-old dental college student in 2012. In fact, this is a simultaneous broadcast that we have on our television sets as well as on our Facebook Live. So all the viewers who may not have access to television sets right now, well, they can actually watch us live on our Facebook streaming as well. In fact, let me go across to our digital desk as well. Also will be joining us for a perspective, for a legal perspective, is Mr. Vikas Gupta, an advocate. And after that, also joining us here on the show is going to be Karan, who's going to be taking us through. I'd request our camera people to zoom in and show the kind of simulcast which is happening right now. Even as we are speaking to you, Akshay, we are streaming this live, this entire discussion and debate live on our Facebook page with a couple of seconds of delay. Well, this is what we are going to be getting for you, and of course it is going to be the Nirbhaya case which is going to be the focus today. We are requesting all our viewers, all the Twitterati, all the people who are on Facebook to connect with us directly, because this is where you can have your voice heard.
Of course, we'll come back to you as you carry on with the debate with your guests. I believe you have Mr. Vikas Gupta, advocate, who's also joining you live. We'll come back to you in a couple of moments. Let me also take this opportunity of introducing panelists we have in the studio. Today, once again, as we've been promising you, it's you, the viewer, who can connect with us and is empowered to ask the people who matter the most about the system in this particular case, of course, in regards with the Nirbhaya gang rape case. I have with me our regular viewer, Shravan Sahni, who's also a lawyer by profession, joining us live. Shravan, thanks for coming in. We also have with us in the studio Mr. Anand Gupta, who is joining us on Skype, I beg your pardon, not on studio. Anand Gupta is live joining us on Skype. He's been very proactive where the entire Nirbhaya story is concerned. Anand, thanks for coming in. And we also have Mr. Uday Sahay joining us live in the studio, former IPS officer. Thank you very much, Mr. Sahay, for also joining us today. But before we actually go across to our panelists, there is outrage in the country, and many people actually are happy about the fact the Supreme Court has upheld the verdict of the Delhi High Court in sending them the verdict of the Delhi High Court in sending them to the gallows. It was one of the most brutal gang rapes that India has seen. India was out on the streets, as we know, all across India Gate for days. And today, many people have been reaching us on Connect, on Facebook, on Twitter, on WhatsApp. Let's straight away go across to some of the reactions we have of all of you who've connected with us here on Connect this evening. Let's make a start with what people really have to say on Facebook today. So that's a wall where we'll have all the reactions coming in. On Facebook, a lot of people have been writing in. We have Saptad Vida Ghoshal, who says, death by hanging seems very less painful in front of her fight against death. Sneha Ghosh says, would be 2 less 2 for these 4. They should be pelted with stones and doused in acid for what that they have done. So the outrage there continues. Let's take a look at some more reactions we have of people who have connected with us on Facebook. In fact, you can connect with us as we speak right now. We will take your opinions live. We have Joyce, who says, the long-awaited verdict on Nirbhaya case is out and it is 100% justified. Charu there says, finally, great decision has taken by the court, but I'm still concerned about the 5th convict who was a juvenile. So you can see a lot of people that are actually welcoming this decision. I want to quickly go across to the activists joining us today. Anand, you've worked very closely with this particular case. You have helped the parents also to try and file these petitions. You've helped them get the lawyers in this case as well. Today, with the Supreme Court upholding this decision, your first thoughts and, of course, on what the public is also saying with you today. All right, I think we'll have to connect with Anand in a couple of moments. Meghna, let me go across to you quickly of what's really happening there on the digital desk. What's the latest reactions you're getting in? You have with you Mr. Vikas Gupta, who's also a senior advocate. Anand, I think we've lost the line. I'll come back to you. Meghna. Take it away.
Facebook. Of course, you can also switch on your television sets and watch us on newsx.com, where we are having a parallel discussion as well. But for the time being, let's go across to our live feed and ask for some of the reactions also coming in. This is the first time, remember, a platform is being given to all the viewers to connect with us, to make your voices heard. What's your voice? What's your opinion? Well, we are giving you the platform for that.
Okay,
so
Meghna, as you go across to the reactions.
I believe Akshay is trying to come back to us. Yes, Akshay.
Yes, quick reactions, Meghna, on social media as we're speaking live. Go ahead.
A couple of quick reactions. Karan, if you could get to us.
Okay, a lot of reactions have been coming in since today. One such reaction is, ideally, Rashtrapati Bhavan should directly refuse to accept the request of consideration and they should be hanged ASAP. Connect with news.
My camera person to zoom in. This is a tweet coming in from Anshu Dubey, who says Rashtrapati Bhavan should directly refuse to accept the request of consideration. There's another one, Mohit, who simply says hang them. There's another one who says it is not only rape, it was also cold blood and murder. A person of such sick mind should be hanged, and it's about time. So most of the tweets which have been coming in say it's vindication at last. Akshay.
Much indeed, many reactions that are coming in, and we are telling our viewers, connect with us here on NewsX. We'll get your opinion live right here on WhatsApp, the numbers flashing on your screens, on Facebook, as well as, of course, on Facebook. Anand, let me come back here. I was trying to connect with you earlier. You have worked a lot on this particular case. Your first thoughts of Supreme Court upholding the High Court decision today. These 4 convicts will go to the gallows. Anand.
My first thought is, finally. Finally, they have gotten justice.
Right.
They have waited so long to get this justice. When I met them, they had not had a Supreme Court hearing date for 4 months. In the end, it was 15 months before they got a hearing date for the Supreme Court. So I want to thank all the people who put the pressure on through their coming out on the streets.
Yeah.
But it took so long for them to get justice. Thank God, in the end, they got the justice.
Okay, thank God in the end the justice has been done to the families. Anand, stay with us. I want to bring in some more people joining us live on Connect this evening. We already have videos of people connecting with us on WhatsApp. Let's take a listen to what some of the viewers are saying.
If I think about this date, it still gives me chills. I am happy that this kind of decision has come and finally they're hanged till there. But still, deep inside, I sometimes think that it could have taken less time than actually it has taken. But I'm hoping that we're improving further. Now I can finally understand and realize that we're actually developing.
Okay, so she says it's taken a long time and we think we're actually developing. A quick reaction from our viewer who's joining us as well. Shravan, your first thoughts on what we are tracking. First, how do you feel about being on Connect, the platform, and of course the story then?
It's a great platform, Akshay. Thank you for having me here. I would like to ask the senior officer here today that why is it that we have no fear for the system?
Okay.
Why is it that people feel that they can do anything and get away with it?
Okay.
Despite something like this, something so ghastly, something so...
Okay.
It's been 5 years, we still hear of things like this.
So that question is across to Mr. Uday Sahay joining us in the studio. Mr. Sahay, would you like to respond to the viewer live with us on the studio? He's saying, why does it take so long? And secondly, why no fear of the law, even though we have such a strong anti-rape law?
Well, first of all, it's a great sense of relief that justice has taken the circle. But the other part is that it has taken 4.5 years, which is a big time, despite the fact that the fastest possible system was put in place to ensure what has happened today. So that itself is self-speaking, and you know there are subsystems working, and still a long way to go before we come to a very fast track that we are aspiring for.
Okay, stay with us. I want to quickly also bring in some more comments before I go across to our panelist, Anand Gupta, who's an activist joining us live. Meghna, I'll come to you as well, but we have a few more reactions. I'm being told that many more reactions that are coming in right now. We'll quickly shift our focus to the wall here. Do connect with us on NewsX Online on Facebook, at NewsX on Twitter, and the number is here, 886-000-83263 on WhatsApp. Quick reactions, if we can have what people on Twitter are saying as we speak this evening on the issue of Nirbhaya. If those reactions can come up on our screens, we'll go across. There we have it. What are people saying as they connect with us on Twitter? Finally, death sentence for horrible Nirbhaya gang rape convicts, but took too long. We have Shrikant who says, Nirbhaya defense lawyer says, Gandhian principle has been violated. This is just ridiculous. Still people in favor of rapists. Let's take a look at some more reactions quickly, if we can get them for our viewers who are joining us right now. These are the opinions coming in from the country. You, the viewer, is connecting right here on NewsX, saying the people of the country are still waiting for the identity of juvenile to be leaked or he be punished by the court herself. Mystic to India says that. We have Akhil who says, leaving the right-wrongness of the death penalty aside, I think this is a stellar decision by the apex court in Nirbhaya case. So some of those reactions coming in on Twitter right now. We'll go across to Anand as well. Before that, a quick check with my colleague Meghna. Meghna is joining us live from the digital desk, as this is a simulcast. A lot really happening there as well. She has with her senior advocate who is joining us live. Meghna, it's over to you. Go ahead. Let's listen into what the senior advocate really has to say on the entire development. Mr. Vikas Gupta there.
Of course, we've been speaking to Mr. Vikas Gupta while you were away, Akshay, and very important questions are being raised, and he's been answering some of them. Legally speaking, of course, he says that there are several options which may be open even now. But the big question is, do you think stronger laws, stricter laws alone will ensure women's safety?
You know, laws is one thing which the lawmaker makes in parliament, and then it's up to the executive and the police for investigating agency how to implement them, you know. You know, there are two aspects to it. One is the implementation of the laws which have been framed by the supreme lawmaker, which is the parliament, and second is the, you know, how socially we treat women in our country, you know, how much respect we give.
The mindset needs to change.
I think that is very, very important. Each household, the way we tell women, our own daughters, how to behave, I think it's high time that mothers and the parents start, and the elders in the house start educating to the men folk also that how they need to respect women. I think both the law, its implementation by the executive, and the social fabric.
Also, a faster process of justice delivery is also very important, because he's raised a very relevant point, and Akshay, this is very disturbing. The fact that ever since Nirbhaya incident has also happened, the number of rapes in Delhi alone have tripled. That's what the statistics are showing. In fact, even as we are speaking to you, we have a live simulcast which is happening on Facebook.
Just come to that. I will just come to those reactions. Sorry for the interruption there, but we are being told we have live exclusive on Connect this evening. In fact, we have actor Raveena Tandon who is joining us live. I'm just being told she's connecting with us right now. Let me put across our first question to her. Raveena, thanks for connecting with us here on NewsX. I want to first get your reaction to what has really happened in the apex court today. This family has been fighting for justice for a very long time. It's taken them 5 years. But your thought on the Supreme Court upholding the Delhi High Court decision. Raveena Tandon, please go ahead.
You know, even though I'm not for the death penalty, to be honest, on a personal level, but there was a sense of gratification, surely. And the very fact that the news reports that are coming out that say that there was instant clapping and applause in the courtroom when this judgment was given out, I think just shows the culmination and the point where the common man's frustration had reached.
Okay.
You know, on an announcement of a death penalty, there's an instant reaction, emotional instant reaction from general public as well as the lawmakers.
No, but Raveena, let's one moment. Let's think about the parents. Let's think about the family who came to face with this brutality and what really happened to their daughter. It was horrendous, horrific. I mean, one can't even describe what really happened to Nirbhaya. So they are advocating death penalty. They want justice. How would you respond to them, Raveena?
You know, to a certain extent, I agree with you. I believe that we live in very dangerous times, and there has been no deterrent as such as far as crimes and violence against women go. Somewhere everyone and the common man's perception is that rapists and criminals most of the time walk free and get away scot-free with whatever brutality they have done. Unfortunately, the juvenile is yet absconding, as far as I think nobody knows his whereabouts. And we had to change our juvenile laws. It was a wake-up call when a Nirbhaya happened.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think he was also liable because he was, I think, one of the worst, you know, the actual one who committed the most horrific, brutal, you know, a crime of what ultimately that poor girl went through.
That's right.
But to a certain extent, like you said, that along with the times, we have to change, and yes, maybe this will be an eye-opener to our society, and may it lead by example.
Yes.
And may it
that was important.
A bit of fear.
Yes, that's right. That was important, Raveena. That a strong message.
Believe probably today that the law is
a strong message had to be sent out. Okay, stay with us, please, Raveena. I'll come back to you in a couple of moments. In fact, we have some more viewers joining us live on WhatsApp. Some more videos are coming in of what viewers have to say on this decision of the Supreme Court today. Let's take a listen in to the latest viewer joining us on the WhatsApp video.
A big salute to my country for taking such a nice decision. I feel happy, I feel proud, you know, when I have read this news in the morning. I think that we should celebrate this day as a Women's Day. Thank you so much.
Let's go back to our panelists right now. A quick question to you. Shravan, you've been listening in, of course, as a viewer to what every panelist has to say. Would you like to ask a question to perhaps the IPS officer, the former advocate joining us?
I would definitely like to ask the police officer who's present here, that why is it that it takes so much time, you know? Why is it that despite having seen something like this in our country, why is it that we don't see a change in the system? Why don't we have police reforms?
Okay,
to
police reforms.
With, you know, why don't we have something like that?
Mr. Uday Sahay, police reforms in the country, need of the hour.
Well, first, let me respond to this case. As you know, there is a mandatory period of 90 days in filing the charge sheet. In this case also, that happened. And once the charge sheet is filed in the court, then it's not only police. As you know, there is a prosecution, there is a court. And then there is a process of first trial, and then you go on to the higher court, and finally to the Supreme Court. So as a lawyer, you know the process, why it takes. This is the fastest possible delivery of justice, and yet it took 4.5 hours. And that's also my contention. But the point is that it's the high time where you try to synchronize what is there in the civil law and what is there in the criminal law. There's a complete kind of a mismatch. As a result, there are a number of cases, like I was talking to someone about what they call Indecent Representation of Women Act. There is an act, but hardly do you find, even in the capital, any implementation of the act. Nowhere across the entire Delhi I have seen one case getting registered. What stops you? Similarly, there are many such cases. But
in fact, I want to put that question across to our panelists joining us live from the Facebook stream. As we've been saying, this is a simulcast. We're going live on television. We also have our activist Anand joining us live from Skype. This is immersive TV we are looking at. We're also going live on Facebook with my colleague Meghna. Meghna, the question that everybody asking right now is that there is a mismatch, and if you can hear me, if you can put that question across to your panelists as well, a mismatch between civil laws, criminal laws, and the question also is the delay that we constantly see, even though there is a very strong law. What does Mr. Vikas Gupta really have to say? We have an anti-rape law, we have a juvenile law, but that hasn't really stopped from crime increasing against women in our society, Meghna. Go ahead.
Been discussing the juvenile law while you were away, Akshay, and this is a very significant question that I wanted to ask Mr. Gupta, that people have been worried that juvenile, as per Indian laws, all his records have been purged as well. So 3 years later, when he's out, he's already currently out, so if he's free, he could be employed anywhere. He could be working in our houses, he could be working in our offices. That's the kind of fear that a common man has, and those are the kind of apprehensions being put forth on the people who've been connecting with us on Twitter and Facebook as well.
You know, I think the juvenile also, if he was to work somewhere, that the background always stays with him, you know. And why?
There are no records left.
You know, difficulty point here is that once the law treats as a juvenile, it is that at the time when the offense is committed, he's not fully mentally prepared for adult for it. And secondly, you know, he's again given a chance to redeem what his mistakes, what he has done in the past, and come back and settle in the society, you know. You know, if we need to lower the age of the juvenile in cases of heinous crimes, as done in some parts of the world, you know, where for murder or for rape they consider as 15 or 16. I think if that needs to be done,
lowering of
then
age,
the Parliament
lowering of the juvenile age further is what he's saying. I'm going to bring in more people. Meghna, lowering of age is what the suggestions coming in from our advocate over there. Anand, I'm coming to you. Anand, the next question is exactly to you. You can voice your opinion on the story. But before that, I want to take in some quick reactions that are coming in on WhatsApp. I'm being told a lot of people are connecting with us on WhatsApp. The numbers flashing on our screens, 886-0083-263. So let's take a quick look on what is it that people are now saying on the application WhatsApp. Okay, here we have it on Connect. We have Abdul Samad saying, Bilkis Bano gang rape incident was one of the most horrifying incidents that took place during the riots. This is a story that goes back to 2002 in the state of Gujarat. Ananya Moitra says, but justice won't be fully delivered unless the so-called juvenile, the most brutal among them, is sent to the gallows as well. So there is anger against that juvenile. We also heard an advocate say the age should be lowered further. A quick look at some more reactions on WhatsApp that we have for our viewers. Let's take a listen into what Gunnar Sekharan says. This verdict is set as an example for the generations to come. Amrit Bajaj, the one who has done the maximum damage, should be punished the same way. So all fingers really pointing towards the juvenile in this particular case. Anand, how difficult really has it been for you when you worked with the parents? We've looked at this blame game that continues between the police and the lawyers, the advocates, about the case being filed, the delay in justice, implementation, etc. Talk us through your ordeal when you were helping these parents.
I want to actually answer some very important points about the system earlier.
Okay, go
about
ahead.
delays in justice. Right now in Delhi, over 50% of forensic samples in cases of rape are over 1 year old. So human tissue keeps degrading. These cases are stuck. The victims are not getting justice because there's a backlog in forensic in Delhi. The rest of India is worse. You go 20 kilometers from Delhi to Gurgaon or just beyond Gurgaon, and the forensic evidence is a simple cotton swab. I've been to the primary healthcare centers. They don't have even instructions on what to do. So,
Terrible.
You know, and
okay, terrible set of affairs. This speaks of if really women's security is the priority of the nation. You can keep changing laws. You can have a stronger anti-rape law. You've changed the Juvenile Act, but really that hasn't acted as a deterrent, and that's the problem. The big question: women's safety and security, is that an issue or not? Still remains. Anand, do stay with us. In fact, another viewer joining us on WhatsApp with a video. Let's take a listen in. After which I'm going across to our studio and the guests as well. Let's take a listen in.
Aspects, though it has come a little later as it has been over 4 years. But again, I hope that it becomes a beginning of speedy and effective justice for all victims of sexual assault and gender violence. As we know that the convict's lawyer A.P. Singh expressed dissatisfaction, saying that you really cannot spread a message across society by hanging a person. But I really disagree with him, because for a case like this, for an act like this SE judgment was really, really needed, as we all know that this whole incident was so demonic and disturbing.
Joining us on WhatsApp, Mr. Uday Singh, your response to what most of the people are really saying. There are many people in the country who advocate that there should not be any death penalty. It is barbaric. It is not of a civilized society to have death penalty. But in cases like these, what sort of a punishment should be inflicted upon such brutes?
Well, as an ex-cop, I would say they should give the maximum penalty, and if there is a provision in the law, there's no reason why you should not implement in such rarest of the rare cases. One, whether there is a desirability of hanging and giving a punishment leading to death, that's a different debate altogether. But you have a law, and if you have a law, then naturally in such rare cases, when will you apply it in full steam? Here is a fit case.
Okay. All right. Let me quickly bring in my colleague Meghna as well. Meghna, for the last comments coming in on social media, and of course, what does our panelists there have to say? Mr. Vikas Gupta, who's joining us as well. Ravina, I'm sorry, I don't think we have time to come back to you, but appreciate you joining us. Lavina Tandon, thank you very much. Meghna, over to you. Last comments coming in from our panelists.
Any of the relatives walks up to them and register a case, they're bound to register the case and then investigate. It is not the vis-a-vis that they first will investigate the case and whether they will come to the truthness of the case and then register.
Absolutely.
I think that is one reason why the number of cases which are reported in newspapers is because there's a larger degree of women who are walking up.
That's also a significant point that he's made, that perhaps it's not that the number of rapes have been increasing, but perhaps the awareness has increased. Perhaps now there is more hope that the woman can possibly get, justice if you go on and knock on the doors of first the police and of course after that the courts. That justice is no longer as elusive as many would earlier have thought it is going to be. A quick check, however, on the social media as well. We are completely running out of time. Some of the quick reactions coming in. There is, Ushaid Ahmed, who says it's a great decision by the court. Rest in peace, Nirbhaya. And that's what all of us hope, that Nirbhaya at least gets to rest in peace. Akshay.
Yes, Meghna, thanks very much for joining us live there from the Facebook stream on NewsX Online. I'd like to thank all our guests, Mr. Vikas Gupta, Mr. Uday Sahay, Anand Gupta, and of course our viewer who was a panelist today, Shravan Sani. Thank you very much for coming in. And remember, all our viewers, if you want to be heard, all you have to do is connect with us here on NewsX. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend.